All right, hey everyone, Jammer here for Jammer's Wrestling Magazine Collection, and today I'm talking about the PWI 500. And you're probably wondering, why a whole entire video on the PWI 500? Well, because actually a lot has changed since the original PWI 500, which I'm going to show right here. I have it. December 1991 is when this first came out, and it was done like this. It was done kind of like a scroll, right? I think that's what those are called, scrolls, when you pull them down and read them, and that's how they were done, the first one. Hulk Hogan was the first guy, and Lex Luger was 2, Flair was 3, Savage 4, Sting 5. So, you know, the top 5 guys are pretty solid. But that would change in time how they did the PWI 500. In 1994, still December 94, but they started doing it like this. So reading it like a normal magazine style. Number 1 that year was Bret Hart, Hulk Hogan, Ric Flair, Big Van Vader, and Shawn Michaels. So, and there's also a close-up of stunning Steve Austin for that one. So the PWI 500 was going strong, let's be honest. I mean, that's 94, so that's like the 4th year. They ended up in 95 not having it as the December issue, but winter 95 issue. PWI never did a spring, summer, fall, but they did a winter for some reason, and they made the PWI 500 a part of that. Big Daddy Cool Diesel got number 1 that year. He was the number 1, followed by Shawn Michaels, Sting, Bret Hart, and Sabu. So that was winter 95. And then they would change it once again to holiday. This is holiday 97, where the man of 1,000 holds, Dean Malenko, was number 1. Now, there's some controversy with this one. Should Dean Malenko have been number 1? That was the big question, because at the time, number 2 was Misawa, and people felt that he should have been the number 1. Steve Austin got 3, Diamond Dallas Page got 4, and Lex Luger came in at 5. But should Misawa have been number 1 over Malenko? And the reason why this has been talked about is because Dean Malenko at the time was WCW Cruiserweight Champion, US Heavyweight Champ. He didn't really do a lot else, right, at that time. And honestly, Dean Malenko didn't do a lot after that either. Held the tag titles with Benoit and held the light heavyweight title in the WWF. But in WCW, I mean, the US Heavyweight title was kind of the high reach for him. Misawa was All Japan Triple Crown champion, right, and all that such. So the funny thing about that is that years later, in the December 2017 issue, Okada made the number 1. Okada got number 1. Finally, a Japanese wrestler made it. He got number 1. Who got number 2? Number 2 went to AJ Styles. 3 was Kevin Owens. 4 was Roman Reigns. And 5 went to Kenny Omega. Which now brings me up Kenny Omega. Kenny Omega in recent time is the only wrestler to make the number 1 for PWI 500 not once. This was in December of 2018, but twice of December 2021. So Kenny Omega had the dubious honor of making the cover not once but twice, because he made the number 1 wrestler for PWI 500. Back here in 2018, we have, let's see who all was number 1 and such. Omega was 1, AJ Styles was 2 again. 3 went to Okada, 4 was Brock Lesnar, and 5 was Seth Rollins. And then in 2021, we got Kenny at 1, Roman Reigns at 2, Bobby Lashley at 3, Drew McIntyre at 4, and Kota Ibushi at 5. So Kenny Omega had the special, I guess, award of just being able to get number 1 in the PWI 500 so fast after doing it just a few years earlier. Which brings me to something I want to talk about now is this. The PWI 50 for the females. This was something that started many years ago. I don't have the original. This is the first one I have of this. This was 2016 February. Nikki Bella got the number 1 spot there. She dominated the WWE at the time with her Divas title reign. We got Nikki Bella, Paige, Sasha Banks, Santana Garrett, and Gail Kim all coming in from 1 through 5. But Nikki, really was the face of the WWE Divas division at the time. That's what it was. The funny thing is, a year later, the 9th annual PWI Female 50, and there's not even a woman on the cover for it. It's Kevin Owens with the Universal title. There's a woman here, Sasha Banks, talking about something, but I think this has to do with Shinsuke and AJ as well, something about moves or something. I'm not too sure what they were writing about, but the fact they didn't have a woman on the cover just seems like ridiculous. Like, why not? This is the whole point of the PWI that you're doing, the list, right? But no, Kevin Owens gets that dubious distinction of maybe he was the number 1. Actually, let's find out who the number 1 woman was that year. How about that? I'm curious as to why a woman didn't make the cover. PWI. We got Charlotte Flair, then Sasha Banks, Asuka, Becky Lynch, and Bayley. So that's pretty much the top 5 for the WWE women at the time. A woman would make the cover in 2019 of February, and no longer a PWI 50, but a PWI 100 for the women, and that's Ronda Rousey. And a little side note here, Cody Rhodes, this is for you, Dad, winning the NWA World title. So Cody, with that stuff you say every week on Raw about, and finishing the story, I think you kind of did in the NWA, but anyways. Number 1 was Ronda Rousey, 2 was Alexa Bliss, 3 was Charlotte Flair, 4 was Io Shirai, who's now Io Sky, and 5 was Asuka. So Ronda Rousey helped, open doors here because she is a celebrity of sorts from UFC and everything, and people know her who aren't even wrestling fans or UFC fans. So she helped the women's division out greatly. Makes sense she's number 1 in 2019. And of course, that would continue on in 2022 for the first ever PWI did a women's 150. 150 women, finally, not just 50, not just 100, but 150 women. And let's be honest, in the year 2022 and now still, women are just dominating the sport of professional wrestling. It's amazing. It's about time. It's great for them. I'm happy about it. Number 1 was Bianca Belair. Number 2 was, I honestly don't know who that is, Utami Hayashishida? I don't know. Sorry about my ignorance. I don't know how to pronounce that. Number 3 was Deonna Purrazzo. Number 4 was Britt Baker. And number 5 was Thunder Rosa. So, thankfully with the help of AEW, helped bring women into the spotlight. Of course, Impact Wrestling doing great with their knockouts and then the women and whatnot there. The NWA has a great women's roster too. So no wonder there's 150 lists now for the women for PWI. Which actually brings us to this now, which is funny. Because of all the success with the lists, in February of 2021, we had our first ever top 50 tag teams they did. And, of course, FTR came in at number 1. They were the AEW World Tag Champs at the time. Number 2 was the Elite of Kenny Omega and Adam Page. And to show that they're not biased, number 3 was the golden role models of Bayley and Sasha Banks. So women did make this list as well as the men. 4 was the North from Impact Wrestling, and 5 was the Street Profits. Now, funny enough, let's see here. Kabuki Warriors made number 9. That's cool. But the Young Bucks, they made number 11. Undisputed Era was 13. Where are the Usos during this time frame, right? The Briscoes are 15. Like, were they even... Where are they? Maybe they were injured at the time. Maybe that's why they're not listed here. I want to say Jimmy Uso had an injury a few years ago. This may have been during the time frame. Yeah, I'm guessing so. That's probably why they didn't make the cut, which makes sense. But it's kind of cool to see that and see the women. Like they over the years, they definitely did make the cover. In 2020, we had Becky Lynch. In 2021, we had Bayley, Sasha Banks, Becky, Charlotte, and Asuka all make the covers there for this. Of course, I talked about this one recently, how I didn't know who any of those women were. But let's take a look at the top 5. We got, see again, is that Saruri? I don't know. I don't know. I've never seen her wrestle. I can't say what her name is. Bianca Belair was 2. Thunder Rosa was 3. Becky Lynch was 4, and Jade Cargill was 5. And Jordan Grace comes in at 6. Now, I bring this up because I want to show something, and this isn't like a knock on women. I'm just curious here. With something, the latest PWI 500 right here. Roman Reigns, of course, came in at number 1. I'm 100% sure it was Roman, yep. Okada was 2. CM Punk was 3. Adam Page was 4. Bobby Lashley was 5. But if I find it here, hold on one second. Yeah, right here. So Jordan Grace comes in at 97 in this. Now I'm that's great. I mean, PWI is actually adding women to this, right? That's kind of neat. Maybe it's because there's not enough men out there anymore wrestling that they added women. I don't know. Maybe because the women are kicking the men's ass. But she made that, and then she made number 6 here. I mean, maybe she should have been higher up in that one, right? If she's number 6 for the women, maybe she should have been like number 66 for the men's. I don't know. I guess maybe this isn't men's anymore. Maybe it's just ranking the top stars in pro wrestling. So now women are included. So the women can make it in both lists, I guess. I'm not entirely sure how they're doing that. This one here, of course, this year, numbers, number 1, the Usos. I'm not shocked there. That was in February 2023. And the Usos came in at 1. 2 was FTR. 3 was Jay and Mark Briscoe. And like I said, man, what a crap thing that happened with Jay, man, when he passed away. That was such a horrible thing, man. Number 4 is Death Triangle of Phoenix, Pentagon Jr., Pac, and 5 is Hazuki and Koguma, whoever those women are. I don't know. They wrestle, I believe, in Stardom, I guess. I don't know. I don't follow that. Not that I don't want to. It just, there's so much wrestling out there right now. It's hard to follow everything, right? You have WWE with the NXT, Raw, and SmackDown. You got AEW with their shows plus Ring of Honor. You got Impact. You have NWA with Billy Corgan running that. You have MLW. You have the stuff in Japan, right? You have all these independent wrestling shows that put on amazing things. You have XPW is back, for crying out loud. Rob Black is back with XPW. So, like, there's just so much wrestling out there. It's hard to follow everything. And there's just certain people I'm not going to know. And it just comes with it, right? I'm older now. I'm not really I don't have the time to go through and watch wrestling nonstop like I did as a teenager, when I could just constantly watch VHS tape after VHS tape of ECW, WCW, WWF, USWA, whatever, Smoky Mountain Wrestling. It was all good back then. But the PWI 500 is still going strong, and it's cool that they've added, a PWI women's over the years and a PWI tag team now. Maybe they'll add a PWI commentators, right? Who knows, right? It seems like it's an endless idea of things they could do. I just think some of the rankings are questionable, but it's all subjective. I mean, the writers from PWI are going to probably have a good idea who number 1 through 50 is going to be. And after that, I feel like it's just random. For example, I mean, let's say back in 2015, if we're going to talk the Usos, let's say Jimmy Uso ranks at 55 and Jay Uso ranks at 58. Why? Right? They were a tag team. They were like neck and neck back then, attached to the hips. Right? They were. Why is one better than the other by that many? Like, who's in between 55 and 58, and what did they do to change that? Right? It makes me think that after so many numbers, they just kind of go with whoever, and just to get the list done. And that's cool too if they do, because really you're dealing with 500, right? 500 individuals. That's a lot. And I think after a while, you're probably just like, who cares? Rank them wherever, as long as we get this done. But I still buy them every year. It's fun to buy. I like to guess who's going to rank where. Sometimes I'm right, and sometimes I'm way off. It's fun. I still buy the new magazines. Like I said, I still do. They're at my local Walmart and local Shoppers Drug Mart. So I'm going to get them from one store or the other. And of course I love the original ones the best. Those are the ones I grew up on, nostalgic reasons and whatnot. And I just remember reading them, and those are the wrestlers I grew up wanting to, to be like and to enjoy and such, and enjoy watching. So, but no, it's still cool to get them. I still get the PWI year-end awards too, and I'm going to do a video soon enough on those. Those are cool, and they need to be discussed. But for those of you who are watching this right now, give it a like, give it a comment. Tell me, like, who were your favorite PWI 500 number ones, or do you own any of these, or did you read them, or do you still have them? Right, like they're so cool. These are such a cool concept. Whoever came up with the PWI 500 back in 1991, I'm glad they did, and it's still going strong to this day, and I don't think it will ever stop. Right, so, but yeah, so that's it. I missed, of course, everything from 2000 through 2013. I don't know who ranked what where then. I don't have those magazines. Like I said, I have pretty much like 80 through 2000, and then I started collecting again in around 2014, just because I saw the magazine over at my local Shoppers, and it was a PWI 500. It was actually this one right here. This is the one I saw. And I bought it on a whim just because I was like, it was kind of like nostalgic, like, oh yeah, the PWI 500, I'm going to get that. And back here, it was, who was number 1? Daniel Bryan was number 1, clearly. Daniel Bryan was 1. Randy Orton was 2. John Cena was 3. AJ Styles was 4 when he was IWGP champion. Number 5 went to Okada. So Okada definitely had a slow rise up. He finally got that number 1 spot, the only Japanese wrestler to ever do it as of now. I'm sure that may change, and I probably will change as time goes on with all the amazing, talented athletes out there. And it would be cool, honestly, if a woman made the number 1 for the PWI 500. And I think, man, there's some good ones out there. Like Bianca Belair, it could be argued that she should be in the top 10, or Rhea Ripley, or, of course, even Charlotte Flair. Right? I mean, let's be honest. Charlotte Flair could probably kick most men's asses if it came down to a fight. But yeah, so that's it. Thank you for watching. If you have any comments, do so. And until I do another one, which will probably be tomorrow, because really, why not, right? This is fun. I'll talk to you later.